Here we go. Welcome back to Cyborg channel. Let's get right into this for good faith. Clear the air. If you guys been watching this, I appreciate you guys. The channel is gonna do its thing, and I don't know, it's not gonna really go anywhere, but I'm just gonna keep doing it, and I appreciate you guys. Happy. So how y'all been? This smells really good. I always say it has a fresh, like, feels like trees, like. And where's our crystal ball? Where's our crystal? Ta-da! Okay. So we're getting back into the wavelengths and dimensions, and we're talking about last episode was. I'm just doing these back to back, Oh, and gonna do a little beer. Sapporo. I think it's Japanese. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've seen it at the Japanese place. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, dimensions and the musical scale. For reasons such as above, I believe that 7.23 centimeters is the wavelength of our universe. This third dimension, as you go up into dimensional levels, the wavelengths get shorter and shorter with higher and higher energy. As you go down in dimensional levels, the wavelengths get longer and longer with lower and lower energy, more and more dense. Just as with a piano, there's a space between the notes so that when you hit one note, there's a very definite place where the next note is. This is in this waveform universe we exist in. There is a very definite place where the next dimensional level exists. It's a specific wavelength related to this one. It reminds me of that movie that came out. I think we're talking about in the last episode, but it was Interstellar, was it? Yeah. That I kind of pictured like how it would be, like you just kind of like the Matrix, the data. You just like swipe and go through and all this stuff. Okay. Most cultures in the cosmos have the basic understanding of the universe, and they know how to move between dimensions. We've forgotten it all. God willingly, we will remember. Musicians, music theorists, and physicians, music theorists, and physicians, it's theorists and physicists. Yeah, it's a tongue twister. I'm sorry. Physicists discovered long ago that there are places between the notes called overtones. Between each step of the chromatic scale, there are 12 major overtones. A group in California has discovered over 200 minor overtones between each note. If we show each note in the chromatic scale as a circle, we have 13 circles, figured 2 to 30. Each circle represents a white or black key, and the shaded circle at the end would be the 13th note that brings the next octave. The black circle on this illustration represents the third dimension, our known universe, and the fourth circle and the fourth dimension. The 12 major overtones between any two notes or dimensions are a replica of the larger pattern. It's holographic. If you carry it further between each overtone, you'll find another 12 overtones that replicate the whole pattern. It goes down and up literally forever. This is called a geometrical progression. Only in harmonics, if you continue to study it, you'll find that each of the unique musical scales that have been discovered produces a different octave of experience. More universes to explore. This is another subject we'll come back to. So, like the levels between the frequencies, a lot of stuff. You've probably heard people talk about the 144 dimensions and how the number 144 relates to other spiritual subjects. This is because there are 12 notes in an octave and 12 overtones between each note, and 12 times 12 is 144 dimensional levels between each octave. To be specific, there are 12 major dimensions and 132 minor dimensions within each octave. In truth, the progression goes on forever. This diagram represents one octave. The 13th note repeats. Then there's another octave above that one. There's another octave of the universe below this, and an octave above, and it stretches on theoretically forever. As big and as infinite as this universe seems, which is just an illusion anyway. There are still an infinite number of other ways to express the one reality, and each dimension is experimentally completely different from any other. That's what much of this teaching is about, reminding us that we were here. So here's the octaves. So maybe like each wavelength is like a dimension, and there's like sounds how like in that movie, the Masters of the Galaxy, I think, or universe. They're like it's like this thing, and he's making like music, and they open up portals, and that's what it kind of reminds me. And then 12 overtones, and then think about it, there's 12 hours in the calendar, the watch. There's 12 months. There's 12 disciples. There's like a lot of the number 12. It's very meaningful. Maybe because we're in our time and space, and there's 12 sectors. Who knows? Because I'm wondering if this would be different for some other planet, or maybe it's for every planet and every space. An octave between the walls. The black circle represents the third dimension. The shaded circles and one octave and begins the next. Okay. Reminding us that we here on Earth are sitting in the third dimension on a planet that is in the process right now of becoming fourth dimensional and beyond. The third dimensional component of this planet is about to be non-existent for us. After a while, we're going to be aware of this dimensions for only a short time longer. First, we'll go into certain overtones of the fourth dimension. Most people in the higher dimensions who are watching and helping with this process now believe that we're going to keep moving on through higher dimensions quite rapidly. So maybe this is like, because the CERN and everything, like they open up dimensions and different portals. So maybe it's like something like this. Maybe they're opening portals from what they say. What do y'all think? Y'all think they're opening portals in CERN? I think so. They're doing something. They're smashing the particles, but they're also creating microscopic black holes, and who knows? Who freaking knows? Not me. Okay, thank you guys. The wall between octaves. The wall between octaves. Okay. Okay. The wall between octaves. Between each whole note universe and between each subspace of overtone universe, there is nothing. No thing. Absolutely zip. Each of these spaces is called a void. The void between each dimension is called the Dwat by the Egyptians, or the Bardu by Tibetans. Each time you pass from one dimension or overtone into the next, you'll pass through a void of blackness that's in between. But certain voids are blacker than others, and the blackest of these exists between the octaves. They're more powerful than the voids that exist within an octave. Please understand that we are using words that cannot fully explain this concept. This void that exists between octaves can be called the Great Void or the Wall. It's like a wall you have to pass through to get to a higher octave. God put these voids there in a particular way for certain reasons that will soon become apparent. It's like a firewall. All right, sounds like you got to know the passwords. Just like I think it was Ezekiel when he went through the dimension, and I think it says in the Bible there's different like secret levels or like hidden passages all through the world, and they go in and out through them, supposedly, something like that. All of these dimensions are superimposed over each other, and every point in space-time contains them all. The doorway to any of them is anywhere. That makes it convenient. You don't have to go looking for it. You just have to know how to access it. Although there are certain scared places in the geometries of our reality here on Earth where it's easier to become aware of the various dimensions and overtones, scared sites which are nodal points connected to the earth and the heavens. We'll also talk about them later. There are also specific places in space that are tied to geometries of space. These places are sometimes referred to by explorers as stargates, openings to other dimensional levels where it's easier to get through. But in truth, you can't be anywhere to go anywhere. You can be anywhere to go anywhere. It really doesn't matter where you are if you truly understand the dimensions and, of course, our capability of divine love and our capability of divine love. Excuse me. Yeah, so this just reminds you of the stories of how they access different portals and stargates, and I think it's all true. They go like, doo, 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 doo. But I gotta pause real quick. Gotta blow my. Okay, yeah. So the portals, in the book of Ezekiel, they talk about stuff like that. So, and it's like the Matrix, man. Changing dimensions. Going back to those guys on the temple ceiling a few pages ago, they're changing dimensions. They're making 90-degree turns and changing their wavelengths. And those wheels, as you're going to see later, are connected to the harmonics of music. And you know that the harmonics of music are connected to the dimensional levels, since the people on the ceiling are making this change while thinking about metamorphosis and resurrection. I believe that these wheels are actually telling us exactly where they went into which dimensions. By the time we finish, you'll understand what I'm Yeah. Yeah, you guys gotta listen to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and they talk about all this stuff. Like they go through dimensions and angles and curves and time and space, and very like, yeah, it's like we're looking through a diamond, or you know, like a glass, like a crystal glass. You know what I'm talking about. You'll understand what I'm talking about. That's what it's saying. Leonardo's canon, with star tetrahedron symbolizing the Merkaba and a central prana tube. Yeah, interesting. The prana. The prana is, the life force behind our back that radiates up and down energy to your spine, and you blast off. Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay. The star tetrahedron. This star tetrahedron with Leonardo's image behind it, figure 2 to 31, is going to become one of the most important drawings for this work. What you're looking at is two dimensionals, but think of it as 3 dimensions. A star tetrahedron, just as shown here, happens to exist around each human body. We're going to spend a great deal of time to get you to the point where you can see that you do have this image around your body. Notice eventually, especially that there's a tube running down the center of the body through which we can breathe life force energy, and the two apex at the top and the bottom of this tube connect the third dimensions to the fourth dimensions. You inhale fourth dimensional prana directly through the tube. You could be in a vacuum, a total void with no air to breathe, and completely survive if you could live the principles of this understanding. As Richard Hoagland has shown the United Nations and NASA, we are now beginning to significantly rediscover this field, just as it is shown around Leonardo. It is also around planets, suns, and even larger bodies. This could become the standard explanation of how some of these outer planets survive. Why? The planets are radiating off the surface for far more energy than they're receiving from the sun, a lot more. Where is it coming from? With this new understanding, if Leonardo were a planet instead of a person, the points of the north and the south poles would be bringing in huge amounts of energy from other dimensions, or dimensions. Planets literally exist in more than one dimension, and if you could see the whole earth in all its glory, the various fields and energies around a planet, you'll be astonished. Mother Earth is far more intricate and complex than we at this dense level can perceive. This channeling of energy is actually how it works for people too, and the particular dimensions or dimensions that this energy comes from depends on how we breathe. Leonardo's drawing the tetrahedron pointing up to the sun is male. The one pointing down towards the earth is female. We're going to call the male one is a sun tetrahedron and the female one an earth tetrahedron. There are only 2 symmetrical ways that a human being can look out of this star tetrahedron form, with one point of the star above the head and the one point below the feet, and with the alignment of the human body looking towards the horizon. For a male body looking out of his form, his sun tetrahedron has a point facing towards forward, and the opposite flat face is behind him. His Earth tetrahedron has a point facing out the back, and the opposite flat face is in the front. For a female body looking out of her form, her sun tetrahedron has a flat face forward and a point facing out the back, and her Earth tetrahedron has a point facing forward and the opposite flat is behind her. Figure 2 to 31, 32. We'll explain the Merkabah meditation through 14th Breathe in Volume 12. First, I would like to introduce other aspects of so that you can begin to remember and prepare yourself for the eventual reactivation of your light body, the Merkabah. Beginning soon, we'll start talking about yogic breathing, which probably many of you are already familiar with. Then we'll learn about mudras. After that, we're going to keep going step by step until we are ready to experience spherical breathing, the state of being from which your Merkabah can come to life. Right now, my breathing's all jacked up. But what I realized, like, before all this and doing LSD and acid, probably shouldn't talk about it on here, but what I noticed about it, though, is my breathing and my heart rate would, like, everything would, like I was breathing naturally. Like, it felt like I was breathing without thinking, and it was just, like, natural, but it was, like, it was more, like, alive, my breathing. I could see my chest go up, my breathing more clear, my thoughts. So, yeah, LSD really, like, will help you with your breathing. Speaking of that, I'm about to drop. No. But, yeah, so I think, yeah, breathing is very important to the yoga techniques. I don't know no yoga techniques. I know a little bit of stretching, but not too much. But I did want to, like, take a yoga class, but sure, I think that would be so expensive, though. But that would be good. And the mudras, I don't know if they're talking about the mantras, but it's spelled kind of differently. But yeah, all these things are really good for you, for your if you're trying to elevate your meditative awareness into astral project into different times and dimensions. This book really helped me do it, and it's getting more interesting. So I'm gonna read this last one. So here's what he's showing, the star. This is like a 2D representation. I think that's 1D. I don't know, but so because we are a star, you know, we're like a star from these channels. Things I've seen, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know. So here we go. Threeness and duality, the Holy Trinity. To understand the situation here on Earth, we will offer another piece of information to refer to as we proceed. In nature, the law of opposites appears to be manifesting through our reality, such as male and female or hot and cold. In truth, this is incomplete. Actually, every manifestation in our reality has 3 components. You hear people talk about male and female polarity and about polarity consciousness. That isn't the full truth. There has been a polarity in this reality without a third component. With one rare exception we will talk about in a moment. There is a trinity in almost every situation. Let's think of some examples of what we usually call polarity. How about black and white, hot and cold, up and down, male and female, sun and earth? For black and white, there's gray. For hot and cold, there's warm. For up and down, there's a middle. For male and female, there's a child. For the sun and the earth, male and female, there's the moon, child. Time is also in three components: past, present, and future. The mental relationship of how we space is with the x, y, and z axis, front and back, left and right, up, down, and down. Even in each of these three directions, there's a middle or neutral point, creating three parts. The triangle. Maybe that's what they made triangles, pyramids. But the pyramid, they found out it's like more than three sides. It's like 12 sides or eight. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's like eight because it kind of like bends. Probably the best example in this fabric of matter itself is the third dimensions. Matter is made of three basic particles: protons, electrons, and neutrons. On the next higher level of organizations from the three basic particles, you'll find atoms, and on the next lower levels, finer particles, divisions. In a similar manner, consciousness perceives itself in the middle between the macrocosm and the macrocosm and the microcosm. Okay, sorry. If you look closely into either level, you'll always find threeness. There is a special exception, as there's almost always is. It relates to the beginning of things. Primal aspects usually do have two-ness. Okay, but they are extremely rare. An example is found in number sequences such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, or 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 3, 21. And in fact, all sequences known, strangely enough, need a minimum of three successive numbers of the sequence in order to calculate the entire sequence, with one exception: the golden mean logarithmic spiral, which needs only two. See, like, yeah, that DMT experience, like, it's kind of like what I seen. Well, the golden box, and then the girls had hands. They looked like feminine hands, golden hands, and then the box. But there was like boxes everywhere because they looked like a kaleidoscope. But the box was made out of gold, too, trim, and then like some white trim or something. But the eye, and there was eyes everywhere. And once it opened up, the eye was spinning out with a chain link, a spiral, you know. I have that art too somewhere, but if you guys would like to see it, hit that like button and let me know. But I'm gonna be ending this pretty soon. I don't want to drag this out, you know. I've been making long videos, and who knows, no one's really watching them. But if you guys watch them, I appreciate you guys for holding in there and going over this with me. But yeah, thank you. This is because that the spiral is the source of all other sequences. In the same manner, atoms all have three parts, as mentioned before, with the single exception of the first atom, hydrogen. Hydrogen has only one portion and one electron. It has one neutron. It has no neutron. If it has a neutron, which is the next step up, it is called heavy hydrogen. But the very beginning of matter has only two components. Two, that's like only the first atom hydrogen. Oh, okay. Since we mentioned numbers exhibiting threeness, we might as well bring up color. There are three primary colors from which the three secondary colors are created. This means that the universe, as we now know it, all created things, is composed of three primary except in its rare primal areas. In addition, the very nature of how the universe is perceived by human consciousness is through the three major ways we just spoke of: time, space, and matter of all, which are reflections of the scared Holy Trinity. The Trinity, like the Matrix, if you guys are familiar. So, yeah, the Trinity is always comes up everywhere in different parts of the world. Numbers, math, things. It might be popping up right now. And yeah, what I've been like I feel like a lot of the people that are talking about these things are like, everything's relevant. Like, it's happening right now. And you might hear the word Trinity, patterns, and I've been hearing a lot of words like that lately. And well, I've been reading it too, but the patterns, the unity, there's a lot. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know your ideas, your thoughts on all this, and forgive me for my reading. It's a little sketchy, a little rough, but appreciate y'all, and thank you for watching. Let me know what y'all think again, and have a good day, and the future's in your mind. Thank you.